yeah?
Yeah.
But,
Like
Eric, we're live.
Yeah. I took them in.
I'd like to call to order the Columbia Borough Council work session for April 7th, 2026. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilperson Cooper?
Here.
Council President Kaufman?
Here.
Councilperson Byers?
Here.
Councilperson Hughes?
Here.
Councilperson Murphy?
Here.
Councilperson Ziegler?
Here.
Councilperson Zink?
Here.
Mayor-elect? Thank you.
Is there anybody who would like to give an invitation? Please stand for a moment of silence. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Join me in a word of prayer.
Absolutely.
Dear God, thank you for this meeting tonight. Bless every person here. Give discernment, wisdom, good conversation, and just a spirit of your presence here tonight, Lord, as this council does its work and as your people await the work that comes from these people called the council here in the borough. Thank you, Lord, for this time. Amen.
And Councilman Zink, his pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions, deletions, or legalizations to the agenda? Seeing none? I have a motion to approve the agenda. So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Easy to approve the agenda as published. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Citizen comments. First comment is from Kimberly Snyder from the YWCA of Lancaster.
Hello, thank you so much. I shouldn't have touched it.
The closer
Okay.
it is to you, the better it is.
Ooh, okay, it won't stay up. Anyway, my name is Kim Snyder. I work for the YWCA of Lancaster. I'm gonna hold it.
That works.
I'm from the YWCA of Lancaster, and I'm from the Sexual Assault Prevention and Counseling Center. And we are a nonprofit organization. We provide services for individuals of any gender. You know, a lot of times people hear YWCA and think that we only serve women, but we actually do provide services for anyone of any gender. We have services in schools for children, for prevention education, to prevent child sexual abuse, any kind of sexual violence. And I'll mention a little more about our services at the end. But I just wanted to read, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we do events all over Lancaster County to observe those impacted by sexual abuse, harassment, or assault. Every year we do a proclamation. We go to different, boroughs and towns in Lancaster County, and basically read the proclamation. So, just so the community is aware of our services and just to kind of observe Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April marks Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which I'll call SAM. Therefore, a time to bring attention to the widespread issue of sexual violence while we empower communities to act. For 25 years, SAM has united survivors, advocates, and communities in the shared commitment to end sexual assault, abuse, and harassment. This milestone is both a celebration of progress and a call to keep moving forward. The SAM theme this year is 25 years stronger, looking back and moving forward, honoring the history and growth of the movement while reaffirming our commitment to a safer future for all. Sexual abuse, assault, and harassment affect individuals of every background. To address this, we must promote education around consent, healthy communication, and bystander intervention. By equipping individuals and communities with these tools, we can help prevent violence before it starts and foster a culture of respect and care. Just some of the statistics show that 32.9% of adults with intellectual disabilities have experienced sexual violence. 1 in 3 Hispanic women reported unwanted sexual contact in their lifetime. Nearly 2 in 5 LGBTQ plus young people, which is 39%, reported experiencing forced sexual contact. 1 in 5 male victims reported only male perpetrators, and 1 in 2 had only female perpetrators, and about 1 in 6 had both male and female perpetrators. Over 53% of women and over 29% of men reported experiencing contact sexual violence. This April, during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we reflect on 25 years of action and progress toward ending sexual assault, abuse, and harassment. The 2026 theme, 25 Years Stronger, Looking Back and Moving Forward, celebrates the resilience of survivors and the communities that have worked for change. We must strive to continue taking meaningful steps towards prevention, supporting those around you, and creating spaces where everyone feels safe, valued, and respected. Together, we can carry this movement forward for the next 25 years and beyond. I join advocates and communities across the country in taking action to prevent sexual violence. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future. We do. So like I had kind of said before, we provide a lot of different services. One of them is that we have a 24-hour hotline. So really anyone who is not only impacted by sexual violence, but also if they have a friend or loved one that, they want to talk to someone from our organization to kind of, talk about if they have concerns for like a friend or family member. We also have medical advocates who are available 24/7. So for anyone who experiences a sexual assault, if they go to the hospital for an exam, we have an advocate that will go and provide support and kind of advocate for them while they're in the hospital. We also provide legal advocacies, including support for PFAs, and just a lot of different things for legal advocates. And we also provide no-cost counseling, therapy services, and so we have a lot of different services. I will be around until the end. If anyone would have any questions or thoughts or anything about our services, I will be here. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak and taking the time. Thank you.
You have that phone number?
Yeah,
For
I-
us? The hotline? Yeah, I have a few other cards for our hotline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have some more if you want one.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Next comment from Mr. Daltrick.
Good evening, you all. Just a reminder, the Columbia Cat meeting is every second Wednesday of the month, which falls tomorrow evening from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Clock and Watch Museum. So if anybody's interested.
Thank you. Thanks.
Is there anybody else who'd like to make comments at this time? All right, thank you. Leadership committees. We'll start with legislation. And our first topic tonight is food trucks.
Sure. I guess really just to restart the conversation with at last meeting, we were kind of discussing, whether, what the intent really was, whether it would just be on public property or private property. It wasn't to be on private property. And then we were also discussing the fees for the application for it. So that's basically where it's at now. I know there's some other conversation that's been, shall we say, initiated or reinitiated as far as, what's really driving all this. I mean, for myself, I guess what's driving it is, ever since I've been chair of legislation for the last little over a year now, it's been one of the items that's on the list. So we just kind of proceeded with them as they were on the list. This goes back to the draft that we working with, goes back to when Mark Stivers actually was here as the borough manager. So just like to open the floor for some more discussion as to whether what the intent is, if it's need. I know there's some discussion whether or not it's really even needed in the borough. So just open up for. I mean, I personally have no skin in the game. I'm just trying to work through the list of items that we had, and really, we had due to the loss of not having a borough manager for a while. I know our solicitor was really unavailable to help out much with the things that were going on with myself. We tried to help Paul and I work through legislation. So now that we have people in place, so we can get these conversations back rolling hot again. So that's basically what brought this to the state that the ordinance is in at this moment. So.
I think that maybe it's not a hot button topic, but I think it is good to have the standard on board so that there's no gray area in the future, as long as it's acceptable.
Kelly, what are some of the changes from the previous version from the last workshop meeting?
Really, the only one was
defining that public space.
Yeah.
That we changed the definition in public
Right.
space.
Under permit requirements, 121-3. Okay. No food truck shall operate within a Columbia Borough public space. This was never intended to be, on private, like the churches have their festivals and they have food trucks on their property. Mm-hmm. It's not that wasn't they were intended for. It was gotcha. The intent that's what I knew it from the beginning was, we have parades and things like that. People come and set up. They must have food trucks along the street on the corner. That's what this was intended to address.
Gotcha.
Kelly, may I?
So when this was first put out, like Kelly said, this goes back to actually the days of COVID when Mark was here, and we were having an issue because people were just randomly coming onto Locust Street or wherever, plopping a food truck down, and we were trying to get ahead of. During COVID, there was a lot of changes, with social distancing and all that stuff. So we were trying to get ahead of it. Now here we are 6 years out from when we started talking about this. Now that I've had some time to think this over, and Mary Barninger's comment really resonated with me. What are we trying to solve for? What problem are we trying to solve that we are continuing to pursue this? I mean, I realize people have put time into this over the years, but again, I think what started it was a very different time than now. And also, thinking about this in terms of what are we solving for and what are all of the ramifications. So pretty much anyone that would bring a food truck here for any event that takes place on our public streets would be subject to this. So the car show, every one of those food vendors would have to do this. Yet, we're not requiring anything different from any of the other the churches and anyone else that is selling food. I think that puts, you know, at that point, how are we going to enforce this in terms of, is it going to be up to us or is it up to the Lions to make sure that every one of their food trucks has complied with this? If it's up to us, that's, you know, that's putting work on staff. But also in that same vein, so then we have an event, you know, the church is having a craft fair up in Jansen's. Well, that's private property, so they wouldn't be subject to this. And I don't think people, the public perception and the food truck people are not going to understand that there's a distinction between public and private. And one of the things that got changed somewhere along the way, and I don't know why, but I really completely disagree with it, and that's that 30-day. The 30-day, the thing is that the permit's valid for 30 days only. I mean, initially, I think it was 6 months or a year, and I was fine with that, but I do not, I mean, every 30 days is a little excessive in my mind, you know, especially, I mean, here's another scenario that we have to think about. So during the music in the park, there's concerts. The Lions Club will often have a food truck there. They'll often have Scoops or someone else or various people coming up and setting up there. So that's, yes, it's private property, but it's also public space in that we are authorized to enforce things in there. So is that the case? Are we concerned with what happens in Lucas Street Park? Another question. You know, we have things when people have different festivals and stuff and things happening down at River Park. It's the public, and then I guess that's just like, you know, the car show or the parade. Everyone down there would have to comply with this, but the individual vendors that are also selling food would not have to comply with this. And I don't quite I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. It seems to me that we're trying to put more regulation in place to make it more difficult for these things to happen. And we got burned with this with the special event fees and everything. And then it was, you know, we're doing too much to regulate. Now people don't want to do this and everything else. Are we doing the same thing to ourselves with the food truck?
I think 6 months would be good to pay the permit. You have to be good for 6 months rather than 30 days. That gets them through a season.
Currently, if a food truck came in and was at an event, what sort of, do they have any sort of like registration or licensing or anything that they have to do?
No.
They don't fall under any other current? Okay.
No.
Mr. President, I have requested Pam Armold, who handles our events, to be here this evening. Can I ask her to come forward?
I mean, my other concern is, and this was the concern I expressed when we were talking about, are we going to do a background check? Does putting these regulations in place and saying they have a food truck permit, does that put liability back onto the borough if something were to happen? You know, and that was my big thing for not wanting to do a background check. Like, I don't want the borough to have the liability for someone to say, oh, I ate the food there and I got sick, and it's the borough's fault because you gave them a permit.
No,
And that-
don't they usually have their own liability?
If people are gonna sue, they're gonna
Come after the borough.
come after the borough too. That's the way it works.
I mean, going back to the beginning on this, when I first, got reading through this, I, without knowing the past history of it, that's my assumption was, hey, this is something to put in place, not just to protect the borough, but to protect the citizens, but to protect the borough, to make sure that we have something in place that we're saying, hey, these are the requirements of it. We're not going to be the one going there and checking to make sure you have a valid license. We're not going to make with the state. We're not going to be going in and checking to make sure that you have serve safe for at least one of your employees that you should have. We're not necessarily checking that, but I think by putting I hate to call it a policy more than an ordinance, but having something in place, letting them know that these what are the expectations are. So without putting that knowledge of what the expectation is out there, again, and it, like you said, it's going to happen either way because, one person gets sick from eating something at a food truck, it's not a big deal. Somebody goes to a food truck and 10, 15 people get sick from the same food. We are going to hear about it. I don't mean the food vendor is going to hear about it. I don't mean the person that's holding the event that has the food truck is going to hear about it. The borough is going to hear about it. It's going to be our fault for not making sure we didn't do X, Y, or Z. Or somebody that works in the booth says something or makes a pass at somebody and they take it the wrong way and they say, oh, well, this person tried to accost me at the stand. Again, it's not going to go back to the stand. It's not going to go back to the group, whatever that has the food truck. The blame, the person's going to be at fault, is always going to fall back on the borough. So, to me, that's kind of why I looked at least to have something in place that these are what the expectations are. I hate to really call it a policy of an ordinance, but
Right, I mean, but if we have an ordinance, enforcement is key. And we have that problem with other ordinances that
staffing.
are not enforced. And, I mean, we either enforce or we don't.
No problem with ordinance. For me, I know it's some money issue too, but for me right now, a lot of the problem with enforcement is you just don't have the people to get out there and cover the whole damn town. With you basically have two people that are doing enforcement of our entire code across this whole town.
Right,
It's
I
just
get
not
that.
near enough.
I get that. But with this, if you're gonna put the ordinance in and you're going to expect enforcement, then every event that has food trucks up and down, we're gonna have to have someone that goes to each of the food trucks and make sure that they, or, somehow have something in place to make sure that every one of them has their permit.
Yeah, maybe you could start out by explaining to everyone how long you have managed the events here in the community.
Okay, I've probably been processing and managing the events since, oh my gosh, I've been on the police side about 9 years, and I was doing it at least 5 or 6 on this side. Currently, how the food trucks are handled, if it is part of an event, we require the event organizer to collect all of the things, and I don't know if you're familiar with the application, but currently we ask for a copy of the truck registration, copy of the driver's license of the owner or the person that's going to be there that day, and a copy of the food safety license and serve safe. That at least one person on the truck will be serve safe. And we require, like I said, the organizer of the event has to make sure that the application and all the required documents are together, and then they must send them all to me. I go through them. I give Paula, or codes manager, a copy of them. And this is anything on borough property, whether it's part of an event. We really don't have too many trucks that want to come and just set up on the street, but we currently have one for April 11th up at the State Theater. They're having a grand opening. So we're requiring the same information from them, just so that we know. I do agree with Kelly that, and I wish Evan was here tonight, but I agree we have to have something in place, and with Heather that we do need enforcement.
It's just how do we go about that at this point? So I just wrote down a few things that kind of came to mind when I read over the current draft. And one of them is the 30-day, as Heather said. There's two types of vendors again. The one who's sitting out on the street, just wants to sell in our neighborhood, and the one that's part of an event. So the French fry vendor at the parade, are they going to get a 30-day permit? But the parades are 5 or 6 months apart, so do they have to get it twice, where somebody else is going to set up for 30 days, has to pay that once and use it for possibly 30 days? And during that 30 days, can they just come and set up wherever they like on borough property, the streets, without letting us know they're going to be there?
And along with that, I don't mean to interrupt, but
That's
I don't
okay.
have a pencil to write down, or I would do that. But like thinking about the parades, Rickers, they have 4 different trucks. Do we have to give them a permit? Does each truck have to be?
We did last year. We
Okay.
did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
I would say.
I mean, but, and if you're already collecting all of this information, why do we need the ordinance?
Well, you have added additional items that you're requiring to the ordinance beyond what we're already collecting. We have not collected fees because there's no fee on the books as of yet. And if they set up one near a sidewalk somewhere downtown here, they have to face, the sales side has to face the sidewalk because it creates a safety issue if it doesn't. So do you want that in the ordinance as a requirement?
But during the parades, that doesn't happen.
Well, that was my next question. If it's an event and they're going to be at a parade or whatever, are they going to be grandfathered in? I mean, we've been doing the Lions Club parade for how many years, and do we all of a sudden start charging them?
Well, so I'm going to start with this. And I appreciate the comment of facing. I didn't give that a thought. But when I look down this ordinance, the purpose, definitions, I think we can all agree that the definition of food truck is a licensed motorized vehicle. We can all agree with public space, streets, sidewalks, parks, other borough property. Permits required. Instead of the borough issuing a permit, I kind of agree with Heather saying, we list certification requirements. That you can't be a food truck in Columbia without safe serve, without
The mobile food facility permit.
that's stuff from the state. Because if you're inspected, there's really nothing for us to do there. Just like our restaurants. So we changed that a little bit. But then what I like about this ordinance, and take out the fines, take out the 30 days, I don't really care. What I like about the ordinance is operating regulations. Food trucks may operate in designated public spaces or on private property with written under consent, provided they do not obstruct traffic, pedestrians, pathways, or emergency access. I think the sole purpose of this ordinance is that we have control over location. The second one is distance. Food trucks should not operate within 150 feet of a primary entrance of an open brick and mortar restaurant without restaurant's written consent. I think that's necessary. I think having hours of operation is necessary. And if somebody's going to do a midnight dance somewhere and they want a food truck for midnight, then they have to come here and ask for a special exception. But I think having that there clearly defines our expectations. not allowing trucks to sit for more than 24 hours. I think that's important. And then the waste cleanup. So I do believe in the regulations. I'm not, I agree with Heather, I'm not sure we need to write down criteria of what they have to submit to us, them get a permit from us and everything else. I think we need to know where they're going to be. I think we need to know who it is, but I don't think it needs to be all that we're asking for.
I think maybe the issue is liability. And that's why I was wishing Evan would be here, because at what point are we liable? If
As soon as they come in the borough, we're liable.
But
It doesn't matter. If they're licensed, not licensed, permitted, not permitted, we are technically liable. We're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If we require them to get,
Municipality always gets sued.
if we're required to have a permit, then we're accountable because we issued a permit and we're at fault. If we don't give them a permit, then we're responsible because we should have given them a permit. We should have inspected it. We should have did that. The reality of it is, if it's on a public space, street, sidewalk, park, whatever, the borough's going to be mentioned. Just the way it is.
well, we have liability insurance
And that's the other thing I think.
for the organizer of the event, naming us as a secondary insurer.
Right, and I think we also should have that, I didn't read over every one, but there is a minimum $500,000 coverage. They don't have to have it for us, but I think we should have some kind of minimum coverage for the food truck.
And you have that in as one of the new requirements, I thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think if we cover our bases, my goal is to regulate. Or not regulate, but to assure the people of Columbia that food truck's not gonna run till 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night. To assure that, Columbia Pizza's not gonna have a pizza truck parked out in front of it. That kind of stuff. The fees,
But they are going to have the food truck parked out in front of it when they have that event at the State Theater, which is right beside Columbia Pizza.
Well, they're closed now anyway, right?
Do you see what I'm saying?
well, then maybe we should require them to get the, and like you said, I agree with that. If Columbia Pizza says, hey, you're selling tacos, I don't care, that's fine. If they're selling pizza, Columbia Pizza may say, I don't want to rent beside you. But at least we have some say in it, some control. But I don't agree that we need to get a permit. I don't agree that we need to charge. I mean, initially I was in favor of each event a fee, but the more I read it, the more I listen to the rest of the council, I agree. The fee's not necessary as long as we have more of an expectation ordinance instead of a legislative ordinance.
Do we have the capacity to police it though?
We have capacity to police it.
Because just the codes department.
So when I say that, here's what I mean by that. We know if a vendor, if there came in and said they want to park a truck out front. At that point with this ordinance, you could require them to get permission from the pizza place. Okay? We may say to operate in the borough, you need a safe serve license. Okay? We may never check them for safe serve. But if a health official comes into town and checks it, or
if you spot, so we have to spot check it.
or somebody does get sick and we do an investigation or something like that, we can check it, because we said it's required.
You'll have it.
But we don't have to have somebody walking around, a police officer, codes officer, or anybody saying, do you meet these criteria? It's just an obvious thing.
How do we regulate or enforce this ordinance without a permit?
It's,
Wouldn't it just be kind of like something that they would agree to by doing business in the borough, like just sort of automatically?
When they
Like,
do the application.
yeah,
I mean,
it just be on the application.
Yeah, the same way we enforce any other ordinance I mean, we expect the general public to understand the ordinances for property maintenance.
So we're still requiring an application.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
in a statement at the bottom, they have to sign, I agree, that I will do it.
Right.
Or, I mean, if they're already doing the whole thing with the special events, why do we need to do something additional?
Pam, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
On the facility use request, even if it's for a special event, is there still a requirement for them to pay, a fee for as part of the facility use request to have
$50
a?
if they submit 60 days ahead of time.
That's for the event entirely.
That's for the
Right.
event, yeah.
And you know what, that would, but
And that would-
I like that, because
that would-
then
that would cover it.
Brickers isn't gonna have to do four different
Ah,
They're already
fees
doing it, yeah,
for each truck.
right,
It's all covered under the
It's covered
Lions
under
Club event.
right.
right.
Is it covered under their liability?
Li-
Or did I hear you say you wanted each truck to have a liability?
I think the truck should have its own
Yeah.
liability.
And then I want
Good.
to comment to that is that these policies are expensive. And when we were asking for $35 for a food truck, they were like, we're out.
So I'm not saying each food truck has to give an addendum insurance policy for the borough, cover the borough. I'm saying they have to be insured.
Got
It's a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
That's-
So
business,
then we're
it's a business, it has
taking
to be
out
insured.
naming the borough as additional insured.
Right, taking out.
Yeah, that should be under the event itself.
Now, Jack, were you asking? I am thinking about like what is the situation if a food truck wants to just set up not for an event but just on the street?
They have to fill out application.
So they would still have to fill out the application.
Yeah.
So that's what you
The
meant. Of,
facility.
is there still a application for that?
Oversight, right,
Yeah,
of the
okay.
process.
But it's just a simple, high-level oversight. They're not asking to enforce.
I do wonder if, in that case, for a truck that wants to come in that is not associated with an event, if that year-long, license or whatever would be a better option for them. That way, instead of they want to come into town like twice a week, well, every week they have to fill out two, applications to have their truck on this spot, as opposed to we give them a license to operate in the borough as a truck that can move around and not be attached to an event.
Yeah, the only issue I see with that, and it's
Go ahead.
yes, the only issue I see with that is then there's no oversight at all.
Yeah.
Okay, they could decide to set up on any block without notification to the borough.
Yeah.
We don't even know they're there.
But we have an ordinance, we can enforce it.
Not yet.
Yeah, but Eric,
But
I
our
guess what I'm
ordinance-
asking you is, do you want any food truck? Do you want if say 5 food trucks wanted to take up parking spaces on Locust Street, which some Saturdays are at a premium, is that okay?
We have businesses for that.
We at least
No,
No,
it's
no,
a restaurant.
no, because what we're saying is if they're filling out the facilities use request,
You would know.
we would know where they're located. The thing is, if they're doing a facilities use request, do we really need them to do a separate permit application for having a food truck if they're already doing the facilities use request?
But we're talking about two different things.
Yeah.
I believe Ethan is indicating we're issuing like a year-long permit for them
Right.
to do it. So there wouldn't be a need for them to notify us. That's the point that staff and I are trying to make.
That's the
Right.
food truck,
Mhm.
not the
I'm-
facility.
How about this? I'm just throwing this out. So I think like Heather, like you said,
I'll do that.
and what Heather touched on, I think is really a good solution for this. They're already the organization that's going to have the event, and most likely that's when your food truck's going to be here for an event. That organization is already paying a fee for their facilities use request. $50, $60, whatever, which would cover. We would say which would cover the cost of quote unquote this fee. So I wouldn't put in. I would just say the fees covered in the facilities use request, and then under C where it says permits are valid for 30 days. What do you want to call a permit? Whatever you want to call it. So I would say the permit is valid for the duration of the approved facilities use request, period. When that facilities use request is over, that food stand doesn't have the right to be there anymore. Now, if they want to come to another food and they want to come to another event at a different organization, brings that same food stand in, and they're filling out a facility use request, and they're paying, that organization is paying a fee for that. So that would cover that. Again, it would just that would cover for them.
What about the individual, like the state theater? There's no facility fee, it's just the food truck and public.
So this is where I'm going with it. I agree. Let's eliminate the date of event, name of event, and put in date of operation. And that's the days they're gonna be operating. So if somebody was coming for a whole weekend of selling, they would put down the 3 days or whatever that they're here for and the location. Some stuff's boilerplate.
And not approve it for a whole year or 6 months?
There is no, but.
Yeah, it would remove an individual permit for food truck,
Right,
and instead it would be
right.
just like an event.
An event, their approval would fall under the facility use request for the event,
Right.
Yeah, just the food truck.
just for the food truck. So
Right.
food truck
So-
permit to operate would be covered under that facility use request for that event. And when that event's over, that permit for that truck ends. And if they want to be,
But
if they want to be here at another event, they're covered under that facility request for whatever that
So-
event is.
Yeah, so like.
They could be here
next
20
week-
times for 20 different
Yeah,
events.
next week, Scoops wants to come and just randomly set up on Locust Street. So they fill out a food truck thing. Boom, boom, we get all that information. 2 weeks from now, they want to randomly set up over on Union Street. They're going to come in and they're going to fill out the form again. We could say, we're only going to charge them one permit fee per year, or one fee per year, or per 6 months. And because the majority of, they're going to know what. So I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm really scatterbrained today.
No,
I'm out there. I'm sorry.
I agree with everything you said, except for I'm not so sure we need a permit.
Yeah, I think the facility
No,
use request will be
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No,
Yeah, I don't
the
know that I
facilities
want
use
to call it a
request.
permit.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, I even said, I don't know if you want to use a permit, the word permit, but permission, you could say, is valid for, I would say, permission for the food truck. You have to have something there, or the facilities use request becomes the permit. The approved facilities use request becomes the permit for that food truck to be here for that event.
Scott, you can just come up to the mic.
So then the only other thing I would add to this ordinance, besides subtracting the fees and extent of time and stuff, is I would also like to see in this ordinance whose oversight.
Good codes, wouldn't it?
You have codes down.
So these right now
Code
these go to
compliance
CAM.
department.
I mean,
They come
that-
to me if they're part of an event.
Event.
If they are just setting up the street, they are to codes.
Right.
As a
And-
transient.
And you
We do
send the
say
ones
in
you
here,
get to
Code
codes anyway.
compliance department.
Don't you?
I've
I saw
sent
that.
them
Yep.
because they're responsible for
Enforcement.
the enforcement.
Okay, so they're getting to codes whether it's an event or if they're just doing a.
Right.
Okay.
So are you okay with everything we're talking about?
Yes.
Hold on there a second. Pam, are you in agreement with everything we're saying?
Yes, I've been confused since their main conversation.
So,
I think I-
yeah.
That's
So-
all right. I'm confused too.
I want to recap it so I make sure I understand it.
All right, go ahead, fly by.
So basically, if somebody wants to have a food truck, if they're part of an event, they speak with the event organizer and they are covered under the,
Can I stop you there?
yes.
If somebody wants to have a food truck in Columbia Borough,
Facilities use.
just submit the food truck event form.
Okay, so not under other events as well.
No,
You mean-
because, for example, Fireman Spray, they're gonna enter the Fireman Spray
Mhm.
on,
June
It's
6th.
June.
I just want to get
So-
some advertising in there.
So
They're gonna hold an event out of Gladfellas, they're gonna have them all the food trucks.
We don't care.
that's part of
Very appropriate.
Correct.
That's what it is. This isn't for private property.
No,
Correct,
but
ma'am.
let's just assume that it's not. They're holding the event. They could either say to all their food truck vendors, you have to fill out a form at the borough, or they can make copies, hand it out to the food truck, and then submit it all in one package. It doesn't.
No, not now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pam, right now. So we'll just use the Lions Club,
Right. Make it easy.
the Halloween parade, because that is definitely on public property.
Right.
The Lions Club says they're getting, 6 different food trucks.
Right.
The Lions get 6 of these forms,
Yes.
and they give one to each of their trucks, and they are going to gather this information, and they're going to come into Pam, and they're going to give Pam 6 packets, one for each food truck.
Right. Right.
And
That's what I'm
right. So it's all on that. It's all on them.
I honestly do not have time to go back to everybody and say, oh, you messed with us, you messed with us.
Right. No, I
Right.
agree.
Right. So then the random taco truck that wants to set up there, they're coming in and they're filling out, they're going to say, we want to set, or that business says, hey, I'm going to have a food truck come set up out front. What do I need? Pam's going to handle a food truck application, and process it similar to a facilities use request.
Sure.
She's going to request all this information. They're going to get it. She's going to say it's approved.
Okay, so I have a question about this. If I'm going to have an event, I know I have to fill out the event form. But to me, as the event organizer, if I took this and gave it out to all my food truck people and said, here's their food truck application, fill it out and get it back to me, then I could go to Pam with all the applications already filled out.
Yeah, and that's what they
That's
do.
what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they
And
do.
I think if it's an event, it should all go through
Through
the
one.
organization
Right.
rather than saying, you guys have to go fill this
Right.
out and let me know when it's done.
Right.
Right.
I have 6 different people come in too.
But you were saying we want to forget about all that documentation when we requesting.
No, we
And
want to,
just say, this is
Hold on a
what you
second, hold on a
need,
second.
this is what you need, and have them sign at the bottom, I agree. And somebody should probably.
Yeah, I think that if we put in an ordinance, these are what you're required to have to operate the food truck. Your safe serve, your health coverage, your insurance, whatever, you're required to have that. For us to ask for it and then do like a check on it or whatever, I think it's ludicrous. We're just saying you're required to have it. If you don't have it, then I saw here somewhere there's a $500 fine, $100 fine, $250 fine. So that's where that would come into play.
Right.
But they're operating a business, so they should have everything covered. There should not be anything for them to really look at.
There's 2 other points that followed me, and she would have known. Returning for repeated violations for public property hazards may be revoked by courtesy commission.
we have that in.
That's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And she says, food truck that has not obtained a permit will consist of a removal of the vehicle from the pond. Those are the 2 points that she.
Like next year, I think it was one neighbor down in my mom's block. And she wanted to have a little block thing together. And they said, she's gotta go through the state. Yeah, 'cause they told me when I talked to her about it, that she would have to go through the state. That's not a state road, that's a public street.
What's the,
Well, Paris.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they.
I don't know, but they told me when I was in to ask.
And I will rework it.
Thank you. That's not a state road.
Thank you. I'll rework it to take out the permit.
Yeah, for permit reference.
Yeah,
Ms.
Kelly,
Bryan.
thank you.
So is there any consideration that you don't follow through with an ordinance at all and just expand your facilities use request to include all of these parameters? Forget the ordinance. Lay out all your specifications within the facilities use request with your appropriate disclaimers for insurances, liability, serve safe, registrations, state permits, whatever they need, and include it all in your facilities use request. No one's going to read your ordinance to know what's required.
It's true.
So make it easy for the user, make it easier for enforcement, make it easier for monitoring. Just a suggestion.
Without an ordinance, though, you can't assess fines.
Okay.
And right, enforce. I agree with Mary that it should be spelled out very clearly on the application what the expectations are.
Right.
And that's something that we
I
could
figured that'd be
Yeah.
simple.
rework the,
Yeah,
Like you said.
rework the application, like
yes,
that stuff, and make it very clear on there, but you're right. If we want to
Enforce it.
enforce it, we have to
Yeah.
have it in an ordinance.
That's the order.
So, but we don't have to have it like it is with all the permit language and all that.
Right.
So, all right, I've saved it and I
We
will,
could just say
I will
as.
work it,
Yeah,
Kelly.
okay. As
Um,
defined in the,
yeah,
and we
I
can just say,
I can't do it
instead of
right
all
now
those
because
steps, you
that's
can
fine.
just say, as defined in the facility.
I'm
use request.
overstimulated. Yeah, I know.
No, I know where you're coming from.
Is there any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Scott had one.
Who's Scott? I'm sorry, Scott.
Just to keep in mind, like the ice cream guy that comes around here, he doesn't have a set place where he comes. It's gonna be based, with him, it's gonna be based on how many kids are coming home, what's the truck.
Yeah, we had
But
talked
he's
about
a transient, he needs a transient
Should be.
business
Transient
permit.
business.
That's a transient
That's a
business
transient
permit.
business.
Right.
That's not considered the same as a food truck.
Okay.
I mean, it's a food truck, but it's a transient business. It's not.
In one place.
No, I appreciate
No,
that.
There's go.
No,
No, but that's mobile. It moves all the time. Where a food truck, you're plopping it down, and that's where it's going to sit. Where the ice cream truck.
He's here on this lot. right
I know,
now.
I'm saying,
And it's late,
but that's
he's
but it's covered.
Kelly, I would go suggest that maybe you or whoever sits on legislation, sit down with Pam.
Yeah, definitely.
And work
Yeah.
out what the application
Yep.
would look like.
Absolutely.
So that she's clear,
Yeah.
and I'm sure she has some good ideas on how
Oh,
to
yeah.
build that out.
Absolutely.
Yes, Frank.
All the time that was put into this, what does other municipalities do?
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Most of them have,
Mhm.
most of them
Most
do
of them
have
have.
fees and everything else included.
Yeah. A lot. Most.
No,
What's your?
not too many because
Well,
they're encouraging. They want to encourage business.
Not the fees, but the legislation.
But yeah, they do the same thing, like they specify, times of, and place and the whole thing of you have to have the opening to the sidewalk, you can't flop it, like those kinds, like the basic stuff that we have in here.
What I have a problem understanding is you have food stands.
Can you use Jake's mic? Just
Or just go.
push that up, turn it on, Jake.
What I have
It's
a
more for
problem,
the live stream, just to make sure that people watching the live stream can hear you clearly.
say it again.
It's to make sure people on the live stream can hear you clearly.
Okay. I just have a problem with the food stand versus the food truck. Because the truck has four wheels on it, that makes it different from the food stand.
I know, that's what, I questioned that too, Frank, like,
Until you brought a lot of them things up, I didn't realize there was so much to this. And I could have commented on everything you said that I was waiting to hear. Some of my questions, these are definitely curbside trucks. They're not to be parked on the pavement. Correct?
no, they shouldn't be.
Should be.
And I don't know what all is in the
Never
ordinance.
been
I read over the ordinance. I said, who in the hell is going to enforce this thing? But anyway, the trucks are curbside. Is there do they have any restrictions? Will the trucks have any restrictions of any kind of what they can't do. Like when someone comes in for a permit or whatever they're coming in for, well, if they want to open outside the market house, can you
Well,
tell them no at that time?
Yes, it's in here that they cannot open, food trucks shall not operate within 150 feet of the primary entrance of an open brick and mortar restaurant without the restaurant's written consent.
Okay, there's a restaurant.
Hours of operations are permitted between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. daily unless otherwise approved for special events. Trucks may not remain parked unattended in one public location for more than 4 hours within a 24-hour period. Overnight parking on public streets is prohibited. Operators must provide a waste receptacle for customers and remove all trash generated by their operation.
Okay. So someone comes in for a permit or whatever they got to get, has a food truck, go to the borough. Apparently this is done on the police side. The police is handling this part, being that it's a food truck. Who handles the stands, the food stands?
So it's a two-part operation. An event comes in to Pamela on the police side right now. An event request. Different things get passed on to the codes department. Food trucks is one of them.
Well, Jesus.
But no one's doing anything with the food stands.
Yeah, nothing's been done with food stands.
In what
You're talking
way?
like church setting up stands, that, nothing?
Yeah, I mean, that's regulated already, technically.
But the food trucks are mobile.
Right, I
The
understand.
food stands stay where they are.
Right.
Okay, so you can't
Trucks
sell
are-
food publicly.
Food trucks are more of a business, really. Church is doing a fun.
And safe certification.
It gets really hairy going down that road because
I-
a
Churches
food
have
truck,
certificates.
even though it's
I know, that's what I'm saying.
mobile, it's their business.
But
Whereas a lot of your
I plan to go out
stands
tomorrow.
Or
I
churches and that.
can only hear one.
You can. You might get excited for it.
Right, well, yeah, that's the whole idea.
But I mean, I know there's many, like during parades, we would always see just random people selling baked goods and stuff. It's not necessarily from a serve-safe kitchen. I mean,
With barbecues too,
you
you
know,
know what I
like
mean?
the down at
Chicken barbecue,
down
same
at
thing.
the festival down at River Park. One of the churches selling food. All those different things are donated by different people from their private kitchens.
That's true.
I agree. That's what I say, but you know, I mean, that's what I was trying to say when you were saying it gets really, you're walking a fine line there because again, just because these are mobile food trucks, it is their business.
Mhm.
That's their
That's their
income.
livelihood.
Whereas the churches and the fire company barbecues and people set up stands like that at Christmas and selling cookies and that, that's more of a fundraising effort, shall we say. I mean, we can go down that path, but boy, it's going to get ugly.
I know it will.
I think we should table this until Kelly or whomever gets together with Pam and creates a new form.
Well, they're not doing the form. That's Stan's job.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it
We're
should.
working on the ordinance.
Yeah, I don't know if, because we're already saying that we want to go back and make some changes. So maybe at this point, it is better to just table it until the next workshop meeting. Because I don't know if there's much more to discuss, I suppose, on it currently until we see another version.
Yeah, Pam,
Yeah,
I'm gonna rework it and then I'll email it to you. Okay, but it'll be later this week.
So at this point, is there anything in force that when these events start taking place that we have
Well,
something?
technically, we have this form here, but it's not ordinance, it's not enforceable.
I mean, we collect the information, but if they don't
They don't have
submit the
it.
information, there's no one checking to make sure that the people that set up are the ones and that they all have filled out this and.
Right.
But they had to come in and pay the fee and pick up the
There's no
permit?
fee.
No, not
No
with an
fee.
event.
Not with an event.
Not with the event.
with an event, the person holding the event gets them all together and then brings them all in a package. And
Well, this is a complicated thing, more
Yes, it
than
is.
I thought. Yeah, you're smart to sit down and redo it. I'll go with the next
But if a
draft.
truck wants to come in and just set up, they'd have to go through the same facilities use request.
Yeah.
And then they
So,
would have to
well,
pay
my
the
question
fee
is,
themselves.
do they have any rules they have to follow
No, exactly.
until you get this in where you want it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll table this to the next month's work session. Single trash hauler. So the reason I put this on here was 3 months ago, Mayor Lutz brought this up as a comment. Council never agreed or decided to do anything with this at this point.
It's been at least 15 years this has been discussed. This wasn't just, this.
I'm talking about this sitting
I
council
know.
has not agreed to do anything.
Yep. Yep.
So my question is, do we want to take this into consideration as a council?
Meaning, do we want to direct staff to put together an RFP so that we can get prices and,
then make a decision.
proposals?
Well, I would think we'd have to create
We'd have to create an ordinance too.
an ordinance.
Absolutely, we'd have to create an ordinance.
Well, we don't want to create an ordinance until we know we're doing it. I mean, we
Right,
don't
right.
want to take the time.
But you can't submit for bids if you're not gonna do it.
I mean, I made a list of just discussion points, based upon what we had briefly at the last meeting, but, again, like, that's what I said at that meeting. I didn't cover them all, but I said at that meeting, if it's council's desire to pursue it, then let's go forward with drafting an ordinance, and then after the ordinance, let's, go with the RFP. But if it's not council's flavor to pursue it, then that's not wasting any more time on it, because there's other things legislation can put their time and effort into.
Yeah. So generally, I know there were a lot of comments at the last meeting. I was able to listen to the live stream. I didn't see exactly how many people were there, but I know that since I posted online asking for opinions, there have been 2 people reaching out that have been positive towards it, and about 26 that are not interested in doing single hauler trash. Now that is without us going through and sort of talking about what are the tangible benefits that we're going to see from it currently. So I do think there's a lot of things to consider. I would like, if you don't mind, Kelly, if you want to start by going through that discussion point list that you put together.
Sure.
Well, before you get into that,
Yeah.
is this something council even wants to pursue?
I think it's worth having this discussion at the workshop to, at the very least, see, what
Make a
are
better
the
educated-
potential benefits and what are the potential issues.
I think it helps you decide whether make a better choice rather than, oh, well, my neighbor says we shouldn't do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you need to make, as with any decision we make up here, you need to make it an educated choice made upon what your information you're given.
So my question is, of the 26 people that say no,
Mhm.
do any of them have a reason other than don't take my choice away?
So there were a couple things that were brought up to me. One of the more common ones was the how do we handle, the different needs of an individual house, not just how much trash do they need picked up, how much recycling do they need picked up, but also this was apparently an issue in another municipality of some people were only able to take their trash out the back. Some people were only able to take it out the front. However, with a single hauler, you don't want it to be going up the alley and the street. So you usually require one or the other. And while that would be something that you could just call and discuss with your hauler, hey, can you pick it up through the alley? That's not necessarily the same option through single hauler, just because of the whole point is to reduce
It
the
could
road
be
travel.
if you put it in the RFP.
Yes, it could be included in the RFPs. And that's one reason I want to go through all this is because I want to make sure that even if we decide we want to go through with this, that we have all of the issues on our radar of potential problems that we could have so we get those included. But yeah, the bulk pickup was another one that I've seen. people asking like, can we call in a different bulk pickup? Now you included it here in the points that, usually there would be some sort of, what did you exactly say? Yeah, non-approved contract hauler for special pickups must be pre-approved by the borough. So that would be, larger items or dumpsters that would be placed in people's driveways.
Dumpsters,
Yeah. I want to say there was another one that I saw here. What was it? It'll take me a second to find it, but it was a lot of, I like my trash hauler, I'd pay a low rate, I don't want to switch. And so that's why I do want to have this discussion, because if we do get the information together and be like, wow, this could save a lot of money and it could be easier, we need to be able to present that to people just to say like, but also if we come up with the numbers and actually it's barely going to save anyone more than like $10 every couple months, I don't know if it's going to be worth the administrative effort to even go through doing the RFP, doing an ordinance, and then administering the switch over.
I'll be honest with everybody in this room. A lot of people, my neighbors and people I know around town, I've talked to about this over the years. First of all, let's get one thing straight. The borough doesn't get any financial benefit from this at all, period. None. In my book, we're not even handling sending you your trash bill. That's up to whatever hauler would be chosen through an RFP. So that financial part to me goes away. Hopefully, by having the entire borough under one, I'm just saying it's worked in the past at other places. I don't see why it couldn't work here, but you get economies of scale, you get a better price. I'm not saying everybody's going to get a better price, but in the end, there's going to be some that are going to get higher, some that are going to get lower, but in the end, you get a cost, and hopefully you get, say you get a 3-year contract, you've got a stabilized price. I know for 3 years, this is what I'm going to pay. It's not going to go up. So for me, the whole point of the biggest benefit of going to a single trash hauler is to deal with the issues that having multiple trash haulers bring to this borough that everybody, quote unquote, there's a better word for it, complains about, but nobody has a solution to it. Like I said, you could have, it's a Tuesday, and on Wednesday, I know my street, there's 3-4 haulers go up the same street. That's 3-4 trucks beating up that street every week. Okay, 3 or 4 trucks go up the street. There's trash in the street. Okay, who dropped it? Because I said to a guy, I said, okay. I said, well, I'll do an exercise for you. I'm going to give everybody a candy bar in this room. Okay, we're all going to open it. So one of us is going to throw the paper on the floor. You go out of the room, you come back in, and you tell me which one of us threw the paper on the floor. I don't, unless you have a video of it or a camera or somebody has a picture of it. You don't. So, if we don't have something in place to do that for enforcement, you can't keep coming in here complaining about there's trash on my street. Well, who do we charge for?
I don't know if this answer.
That's just one of the minor problems that comes up.
Then you get a lot of people who throw stuff out the parlor.
Absolutely.
It's like me, I work down here.
I'm talking about right after a trash hauler.
Right.
And we're not doing the whole town
Penn
in
Waste
one
go
shot.
up my street today and spill a bunch of stuff out of the back of that truck.
Yeah.
The whole way up 9th Street.
Quick question, and I don't know if it's been answered or not. So are we making this, looking at this ordinance for just our residential parcels? What do we do with our commercial industrial parcels?
Typically a single hauler only does residential. And only they typically have for larger parcel or for like, say, a big apartment building, there's generally a cutoff as to how many units. Like if it's under X number of units, it's still considered in the residential and it would be subject to this versus, a larger building. And that's usually, there's usually some cutoff in the RFP.
Let's take, for example, Grinnell. Are we requiring them to get in line with
No,
that ordinance?
they'd be commercial.
Right.
So
So that's
they
what I'm
have
asking
the-
you. So there's going to be exemptions for some industrial and commercial as when we look at the ordinance, because at the end of the day, the residents are going to be eating those costs for, those larger parcels. So I think
No,
we should,
they're not.
no, I'm saying if they were lumped in together, they would
Yeah.
be, but I think there should be some exclusion.
Oh, yeah,
If
no,
not
we,
completely
single haul are
excluded.
just as residential.
Yeah. I mean, some municipalities do it,
Oh, yeah.
lump them all in, so their residents eat those costs for those industrial parcels. But I think we should have that separation, then we can keep those costs down.
Eric, do you care if I read what I put together?
No, go
Just
right
like-
ahead.
I mean, it's just something, food for thought for people to really think about. So I put a list together, some real quick pros, potential cost saving and stable rates to residences due to contracted services, a reduction due to the number of residences to be served by a designated hauler. So instead of spreading them out over 50, we're using one and we get again, economies of scale. Number two, the biggest thing is, for me, is standardized services and equipment. We would have pickup zones. I just said like southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest. Divide the borough up in 4 sections. On one assigned day, which confines pickup per day to a confined area of the borough, I would suggest aligning the route of the street sweeper to be in that area, in that zone as well, just to follow up, because the street sweeper could see, hey, what's going on? They are dropping trash. Second is each resident will receive a hinge lid toter, and a large size recycle bin. It eliminates setting out of loose bags and smaller undersized cans that a lot of people use because they can't afford the big toter, and it gets full, and their 2 little cans are full, so they're setting bags out, which is against our ordinance. So if everybody's using the same equipment, that's another thing. One hauler allows enforceable street litter post trash collection since no others are permitted. You'll know if there's street trash in the street, after a truck went through, you'll know who it was. Improved haul equipment reduces and eliminates the possibility for spilled refuse during collection. They maintain their equipment. Reduction in the number of haulers reduces wear and tear on the borough streets, and reduction in the number of haulers reduces traffic congestion and noise pollution. We all know driving up down Walnut Street with 3 or 4 trash trucks are on the street, and they're moving, and they don't want you to get in their way. They expect you to just sit and wait. I put another section. I put other concerns. Use of the non-approved contracted hauler for special pickups must be pre-approved by the borough, i.e., large items or roll-off dumpsters by residences. Second would be the pickup of refuse at large multi-apartment facilities that use on-site dumpsters. So you're talking like the high rises, you're talking wagon works. They have 30, 40, 50 units. They're probably contracting with their own person. I would say that would be outside of this as well. 3, not intended for commercial use for construction projects, factories, etc. The need for a designated hauler to have equipment that can navigate avenues in the borough for pickup of trash at these properties, because we have houses that are on the avenues, and their trash got to get picked up. And so it would also allow pickup at the rear of the properties that have limited or no street access for their trash and recycling cans. Creation of a single hauler ordinance, service standards and penalties for non-compliance by property owners and by haulers for trash removal contracted services, which would include an opt-out. So that's basically the RFP. Management of the collection of payment for said services is the responsibility of the hauler. We're not just billing you, they are. And responsibility for performance of the hauler's contracted service is on the Borough Codes Department through daily drive-through designated areas and through citizen complaint process. And for cons, really, I just have, it's a possibility that some people will get an increase in cost, and 2, you do lose the loss of the individual consumer hauler choice. So that's as many things as I can think of. But anybody wants to add anything, I'd love to hear it.
One thing, when we went to the municipal breakfast with Representative Miller, we had a rousing discussion with some of our neighboring municipalities. And something I didn't think about until we talked to them was, if we are going to offer an opt-out, which I would suggest that we do, I would advocate for that, because people that feel strongly we should allow them to opt out. They have to make the decision to opt out before we issue the RFP, because our RFP has to say how many, how many units. That, so we can't allow people to say, oh, I'll wait and see how much it is and then decide if I'm going to opt out. If they're going to opt out, they need to make the decision before we issue the RFP, because we have to know how many units we're putting in the RFP.
Was the rousing
Make a
discussion?
decision when they don't know how much it costs.
That's
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what you take. That's a chance you take.
But how can we expect a contractor to give us a good price if they don't know how many units they're picking up?
Right. If you're that adamant about, I want to keep my hauler and I want to keep my choice, pay for it.
What?
I mean, the
Doesn't that-
rousing discussion was
I mean, I'm not.
I was gonna say.
The rousing discussion was this.
So-
There is a sitting member of the West Hempfield Township Board of Commissioners. He is on the Board of Commissioners. He exercised his opt-out. He is paying $20 a quarter more for his opt-out than what everyone else is paying. But it was important to him to have that choice. So he is paying $20 a quarter more just so he can say he has that choice.
Did most of the municipalities that you spoke with have an opt-out option?
Yes.
So
and every one of them said it's important to do it before, because otherwise, if you do it after, you put that RFP in jeopardy. Because if you say we have 10,000 units and 100 people opt out, after the fact, you're only giving 9,900 units. That's a big difference.
that
And then
makes
the
sense.
borough would have to make up the difference of that cost.
But doesn't that defeat the whole purpose?
Exactly.
Well,
So-
to me, it helps us define it too, though.
It-
No,
Let's
no,
see.
no,
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 let me think. So we have 4,200 residents. And we go through this process, and we have 2,000 residents come back and say, I want to opt out. Then that gives us sit there and say, well, hell, we're only looking at doing this for 50% of the borough. Is it worth doing it? And then we have the information we need to
Okay,
say,
so-
you all basically said you didn't want this done,
Flip it the
so we're not
opposite
going to
way.
do it.
What if 85% are okay with it and only 15 opt out?
Right.
Do you allow them to opt out? Because 15%, you're still going to have the same
Right.
traffic flow of trash trucks and everything else.
I personally don't like the opt out, but
It
from
doesn't make sense
what
to me.
I've researched, that's what this
So-
is based
Right.
on.
Do you know how many
Most of them have
do you know how
opt-outs.
many residences in West Hempfield? West Hempfield Township has about the same number of units we would. Do you know how many of them have opted out? 12.
But that's additional trucks
They're going anywhere.
that are going,
Yeah.
come up the streets.
Still going in to get the
Same amount of trash
to get up.
It's not about the trash. That's getting picked up. It's how many trucks and stuff are going up and down the streets.
Right.
And what days are going up and
And
down.
who's responsible for dumping the trash on the street?
I will
If
say
somebody
that.
opts out, we no longer have control of why that trash is getting picked up.
So I was reached out to by Susan Warby, previously an administrator for West Lampeter Township, who handled the single hauler trash. She did mention to me that one thing that they had to do, where they did have the opt out, was they had to provide a monthly pay or a quarterly paid bill to show that they had a trash hauler. And while that did cover some of it, it also then created a ton of stress on the staff to maintain that. Personally, in my opinion, I feel like if we do go this route, I would say that we should not have an opt-out process, because again, that could potentially defeat part of the point and some of the benefit of actually having this system in place. But I would also want to make sure that before we get to the RFP process, we do everything that we can to make sure everybody understands the potential benefits of the thing first and let people get their opinions out there, so we have that process of, public feedback like here in council.
And that's why I didn't put this under pros.
Yeah.
That's why I put it under other concerns, because
Right.
even though I'm not for it, maybe that's what it takes. I don't know. But, and the opt out also to me would also be, if we do go down the path and we get to the point where we are doing this, if we are doing an RFP, we do need to have something in the RFP that allows us to opt out of whatever contract we have with ABC hauler if there are continued problems, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you gotta look at people on Social Security, that your sewer bill.
Yes.
I think your sewer bill just went up again.
Not us.
That's nice.
Mine didn't.
Heather, do you know?
No, no, I mean, it's not us on the
Oh,
sewer.
yeah.
Do you know
That's Lock Farm.
if
Well, that's it. Who's not paying for trash? Our ordinance says,
If
Our ordinance
if we-
says
if we
everybody
get-
must.
If we get made aware of it,
Yeah.
they are dealt with through the codes department.
What was her question?
yeah,
She asked what happens if people don't currently have a trash hauler at all.
So I can address that if we get my time here.
Yes, sorry, Frank.
Well, from the very beginning, before you even started talking about it, I just want to know why you're trying to fix something that's not broke.
Well, everybody's
What's not broke
complaining
about it?
trash being on the streets.
What's not broke about it?
Heather
Trash
brought
in
up
the streets?
fact that there's 2 or 3 trucks, when they went up the street, there's trash all over the street. Why isn't our police department taking care of that? We have cars, they have boots or shoes that we buy them, they have bicycles they can ride. They need to get out and cite these people.
To follow the trucks around town?
Absolutely.
You have to see them
They
do
know
it.
when they're
You
coming.
have to see them do it.
Isn't that their job, Kelly?
I mean, just because you come upon it, doesn't mean you can assume who did it. Like I said, that's my point. That's my biggest problem with it. If people
And-
see it,
And
by
let's,
all means, go out and take a video of it and send it to the borough so we have it.
I mean, I got a kick out of the mayor saying about so many trucks at one time on the street. Come on, they're going to be out there, going to be picking up, but you got to regulate that somehow. There's got to be some way you can say, this is your day in town, that's your day in town. The borough has never sat down and done that. They need to do that. Now you're going to put it on a lot of burdens on elderly people. I'm elderly. I never had a trash hauler in the last 50 years. I still don't have a trash hauler. I have an incinerator in Wrightsville. I can take a bag of stuff over there and put it in the incinerator. When I was working, I would take a bag or two to work. I don't need a trash hauler. Now you're going to put that onto somebody on a fixed income, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that don't have it. I heard you say, I think it was you, I could be wrong, Heather, but you said every, the apartments, what do you call them? Every one of them has to have a trash hauler. If you have a license, you got to have a trash hauler. I didn't hear you say nothing about the private houses. What's the ruling on this?
It's in our code that
Every-
everyone has
every-
to have a trash hauler.
If what?
Everyone has to have a
Every
trash
residence.
hauler. Every residence has to have a trash hauler.
At this point?
Yes, that's what's in our code.
Okay. Well, I remember when this switched over, I remember one of our
It is. A lot of people are
board
busy.
members saying that, well, my mother only has a bag of trash. I think fair that she's got to pay this.
But frankly,
Believe me, I heard it. I can tell you who it was, but I'm not going to mention it on the floor.
but there are, I mean, and again, and it wasn't discussed tonight, but that's something you work in the RFP. There are a lot of the contracts that are out there I've seen. If you have elderly people that, look, I only get one bag of trash a week, they're not going to charge you the same amount. You can work out within the RFP, you can define who these people are that, the elderly people mostly, that how they, I mean, myself, I'll be honest with you. My son lives with me, okay? So his kids come and say, well, every other week. Every other week, I got 2 trash cans full. When they're not there, I got a half a trash can.
I'll tell you how that works, Kelly. I'll tell you how that works. If you say it's going to work like that, you're wrong. What's going to happen, these elderly people are going to know somebody down here in the Borough Hall, call down and, oh, hey, we'll take care of that. So some official or somebody in here is going to tell them, hey, don't charge them for that. You only got one bag of trash. This is how it gets.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so,
Yeah, I
and
would say that.
enforcement is,
Yeah,
because we
but
just
you
had, this
You have
past
to
week,
look at that
I
kind
was
of
on,
thing.
a zoning, a code, somebody got a quick ticket, and came in to challenge it, and that was, had dealt with trash on the site. So it is dealt with.
But
Yes.
I'm to the point that it's not broken and it don't need fixed because the mayor brought it up and he's that interested that he's not even here tonight. I wanted to hear his side of it. Where's he at?
He is
Is that-
down at Columbia Crossing because the Chesapeake Bay Commission is having a reception down there. I stopped down before I came up here. There are state officials that came down that are down there, you know, talking about the Chesapeake Bay and the watershed.
So in other words, he's hobnobbing. Is that the word you would use?
We're not gonna say that.
If you were all here and you're so interested in this, how many units, I guess a unit would be one household. How many of them do we have in the borough?
I believe it's a little bit over 4,000.
It's like,
No.
if you include like somebody has a house and has 3 apartments or 3,
Yeah.
each apartment being a separate unit, I think it's around 4,200,
Yeah.
including those.
So you count
Including those.
each apartment as a unit.
Yes,
Okay. And then
absolutely.
you said,
Personal, the 3 different apartments have 3 different people living there. That's 3 different bills.
yeah,
Hold on a second. I disagree with that. The property owner.
Right. Right. It's property
one
owner's
bill.
job.
One bill.
It's property owner's job, right? I'm just saying, but that's 3 different people responsible for it. So, whatever you want to call it.
so a guy has.
The property gets the bill. The
Guy has a
owner gets the
5-unit
bill.
apartment. Does he have a commercial thing picking that up?
We would
Semantics.
work that out before we get to the RFP process of what that sort of limit is, as far as how many would need to be within one building before it just becomes, you know, a sort of industrial, separate trash pickup.
Well, I hope it don't come to that. But that's just my opinion, but I'll let you, I'm being honest with you. I believe me, I didn't have a trash hauler since I think I lived down on 2nd Street. I take care of my own. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
You just incriminated yourself.
I didn't think I was that much shorter than Frank. So at the council meeting, I asked, what are the pain points around trash in the borough? And I heard trucks in town every day, accountability to the haulers for trash being left laid behind. We'd like to have consistency in the receptacles that trash is being picked up in, i.e. the toters and the recycling bins. Having a central provider to address issues. Potentially better pricing for the residents of the borough. They were just a couple of the points. So, like I always try to do, my own due diligence. And I would suggest that each member of this council do their due diligence. Because like the food truck ordinance, this topic has many layers and more tentacles than you think. So just some points. I'll kind of take Kelly's approach. Some of the things that you need to consider, and I would suggest that you call in different meetings with some of the top single hauler vendors that you think you might be looking to do business with, long before you're thinking about putting an RFP together. And have them talk to you about the issues that you're trying to solve for. Pricing. How do they develop their pricing? Does it include dumping? Does it include the pickup? If there are surges in gas prices, am I locked in? Are there, should we consider provisions within the contract to lower the prices if fuel prices come down, et cetera? So these are just things that you want to understand how they do it and what are they willing to do to work with you before you even put an RFP together. It will help you put your RFP together. So one of the questions was around the residual waste being left behind after the collection. Policing that is virtually impossible. Large haulers are more than likely to only those who will be able to provide service under a single hauler relationship and do not have the customer service approach that small haulers provide. And that frankly, we in the borough have been spoiled by with the local haulers that we've had in the past. You know, it's like anything. The bigger you get, the less detail that's paid attention to the small things. They bid the job based on man hours. Getting in and getting out is their number one priority. Many times during manpower shortages, they use temp services to backfill to make sure they have someone on the back of that truck. There's no way to consistently provide higher levels of service under those conditions. Considering a one hauler system, hoping to remediate residual waste situations is truly unrealistic. It all comes down to the work ethic and the training that that individual on the back of that truck has.
Yeah.
All of those trucks that are coming into the borough now have camera systems on the back. So if you have an issue with a hauler, you call them and make them pull the footage from those trucks on that route, in that block, and make them tell you, yes, that was our driver and truck that dropped that trash. You can get to that information. Is it going to take time and effort? Yes. But it will get you the answers that you want. If you don't get it, then is that a hauler that you want to deal with moving forward? Something to think about. Using the same container raises other questions. What size will accommodate however many bags the contract will pick up? Consideration has to be given that not all folks will be able to manage a large can. Circumstances may be present to prevent taking the can to the rear of the property or not having the room to store a large container. I mean, we have many properties in Columbia. Just think about Plain Street as you're going down towards Wagon Works. How is any one of those residents going to get a toter from that second story level down to the pavement? They're already have toters lined up across the front walls of those properties now. Those toters are not supposed to be there according to current borough ordinance, but they are. They have no alternative. There's no pickup available in that back alley. That will be an opt-out situation that you'd have to consider. Many people in this borough, and it's been talked about already tonight, let's say that you would say that, you know, your contract would cover a 4-bag limit. Many people, 1 bag, half a bag, no bags, put it in the neighbor's trash can because they said you don't have to get a trash, just stick it over in mine. I've done that for my neighbor when she lived there. So the pricing, contrary to what I thought I heard earlier, I don't believe is as prevalent as you might think it is. In these contracts, one price. There's generally not separate pricing for lower service.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's one price. So whether you're putting out a half a bag every week or 4 bags every week, everyone's paying the same price.
I'm just saying, I'm not paid, I pay by the toter. I don't pay, they don't count how many bags.
No, but they call it a bag service. It's a bag service. So you probably have a 95-gallon toter, the big one.
You get a lot of bags.
The big one. You can
Large
put 6,
down.
7, 8 bags in there, depending on what you have in it.
I get more than 8, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, don't give me mine.
Columbia Borough already has an ordinance requiring the landlord to provide service for tenants. Most landlords incorporate it into their monthly rent. This ordinance was put in place to protect the provider from the transient resident who accumulates a bill for service and slips out during the night without paying. Landlords can withhold security deposit monies to ensure trash is removed and paid for. The borough is already policing landlords to cover trash service. If I recall, it is part of the annual registration process with the borough that the landlord has to say, Johnny is my trash hauler for my properties. The problem that has historically existed is the landlord meets the requirement by providing service, but not necessarily the service level that is needed for the number of tenants in the unit. For example, a one-bag service for a family of 5. So the landlord is paying the least amount they can right now, but it's not equating to the amount of trash that's coming out for that tenant. So the trash starts to accumulate, thereby creating another issue. The idea of dividing the borough into quadrants. One thing that I heard was we have trash trucks in the borough every single day of the week. By dividing it into quadrants, you're going to have trash trucks in the borough every day of the week.
We won't have 4 of them at the same time. It's the only difference.
If the borough has 60,000 pounds of trash to be picked up on a weekly basis, and you divide that into 4 quadrants, you're still going to need more than 1 truck to get 15,000 pounds of trash out of that quadrant. So it's going to mean multiple trucks likely on those days to get that trash up, even in quadrants. Right now, I think the borough's ordinance does say that residential trash is picked up Monday through Thursday, and commercial trash is picked up on Fridays. That's still correct?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
It used to be.
I know the residential is Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and I think commercial was set aside for Fridays. A single hauler only solves some issues but raises others. It does eliminate free enterprise for the little guy, as they essentially don't have the means to meet the necessary requirements of a municipal contract. And frankly, there aren't that many little guys out there anymore. I think right now in the borough you have Penn Waste, Waste Management, which doesn't have many stops in Columbia anymore, Goods, Caller, and I think that little Willie Shell.
Casella is another one.
There's actually more than what you think.
AJ
And
Blesensky.
not only that,
AJ Blesensky, yes,
But he's bought out. He's bought out by the trucks might be different, but they're all under some conglomerate of some type. I think Goods brought out Belinsky. But I mean, you see Gamby's truck running around. He's under Goods. So even though you might be seeing different trucks, doesn't mean that they're different haulers.
well, and the thing is, we have in our ordinance, you have to pick from one of these or
Approved
from
list.
The approved list.
Yes.
Well, if you look at our approved list now, Goods isn't on there. I don't think Caller's on there. Like, there's a bunch that we see in town that aren't even on that list.
So who is contacting those haulers and letting them know that they need to register with the borough?
Right.
Enforcement issue. Clean up the list. That doesn't sound like a too difficult task. You all seem to like who the haulers are coming around the borough. In closing, if you're going to be going down the route of a single hauler, do your due diligence with these potential candidates in advance. You're not making any promises. You're just asking questions. You're trying to get educated. And guess what? What they might be doing in West Hempfield or West Lampeter Township or somewhere else may not fit what we're doing here. Columbia Borough is more aligned with what happens in Lancaster City. We see it all the time. Fire service, police, trash, it's all the same. We have the same problems as what Lancaster City has. So it would seem to me that we should do the due diligence, get the questions answered, and don't let them give you fluff answers. push them for the truth. There are many people that can help put an RFP together that will protect the borough. And one thing I wanted to mention, there was a comment made about if you're going to allow an opt-out, you have to know who's going to opt out before you send out the RFP. I don't think that that's entirely true. And this is something you could talk to the haulers about. You could ask them if they would consider in their RFP, if they would respond to an RFP that had a provision in it that said, you would be awarded this contract if you received up to 60% of the residents. If 40% opted out, but you were still going to get 66 or 60% of that 4,200, you know, would you still take the deal? Would you respond to the RFP?
That's a good way to look at it.
I actually have RFPs from Lancaster right here on my screen right now, and 3 or 4 others. So they're all a little different, but
Yeah.
And
Lancaster actually has-
Waxwana
Lancaster's-
actually helps write. will
Lancaster actually has
actually
an
help
RFP.
write.
Well, yes, because they want the single hauler. So you have to be careful there too, because there's underlying, I don't want to say agendas, but there's underlying reasons why they want a single hauler. Tags for large items would have to be through the borough. If you wanted to, you know, you could think about putting in a couple 40-yard boxes somewhere throughout the borough and just have people bring their trash there if they wanted to opt out. Something else you need to think about too is in your contract, what does the quarterly billing include? Does it include picking up, the driver, the truck, their maintenance, their fuel, and the dumping fee?
Yes. Yes, we want dumping included. We
Dumping
do
has to
not-
be included.
Yes.
Because I can tell you, Columbia Borough generates more trash than you can imagine, comparatively.
How is it
What does
compared
that
to
say?
Lancaster City?
Well, Lancaster City's obviously much larger,
Yeah.
but
Well, the way you
there was
said it,
one,
just-
there was one hauler in Columbia on a residential pickup day was picking up over 30,000 pounds, one hauler. 30,000 pounds one day. Now, understand, they start at 4:30, they're out of Columbia before 9:30.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that hauler had good employees, they had high expectations, they gave the personal service. When your cans were empty, they were put back where they found them, lids attached. You're not going to get that service. I mean, your service level expectations, I'm not going to say you shouldn't shoot for them to be high, but I wouldn't expect them to realistically be met.
Well, they're not being met now.
No. And to think that, okay, now that we have, you know, XYZ company as our single hauler, we can go to them and say, okay, you know, you're the only hauler in Columbia. We know you're the one that left that trash lay. What are the repercussions?
Yeah, you
They're
can't.
not going to send somebody back out to get it. I can assure you.
That's true.
So that's it.
So Mary, you're in favor?
Thank you, Mary.
Sorry. Thank you.
You're in favor?
Well, she's speechless.
I was like, what?
I should ask her now.
Very touchy subject, obviously. Prior weeks, prior months that I have addressed the council on this issue, when I used the term opt-out, I was not talking about individual residents opting out.
How about the
I
contract?
was referring to
Right.
Columbia Borough not reneging, but pulling the service contract from them if the service doesn't meet standards that we require.
Right, and
Not that we ask for, that we require. To have an individual opt out, wow. Again, you're going to have multiple trucks. If I'm one of the 2,000 that do have the single hauler and 2,200 don't, I can all but guarantee you I'm going to be paying more than what I am currently. If we have 4,200 opt out, great, we all win. Again, that's, to me, I'm not dead set on this, but based on what you had said, Kelly, that was the overwhelming concern of the people that I talked to online and in person. It was, how much is the borough going to take off the top and add to my bill? As long as it's transparent and what you're saying is correct, I don't see how we can't all win in this situation. I really don't. Mayor Lutz said about Mountville paying 72 a quarter. Okay, maybe that's a year too old. I don't know when that contract was negotiated. Okay, 25 just last year then. I don't think there's a single person in this room that's paying anywhere close to $72. In my discussions, the lowest I have been able to find, I think I might be the lowest at 99. I've had 104, I've had 106, 110, 120, 130, 140, and $164.50 from one person told me that. And I know that's accurate because he showed me a picture of it and he sent it to me. So again, do due diligence like this lady had said, but I don't see how it can't be a win-win if it's handled properly.
I just wanted to make two more clarifying statements. There was a mention about, we would insist that the hauler does the billing. Generally, that is not the case. The municipality bills. In the 23 municipalities in Lancaster County, out of the 67 or however many we have, the majority of them are billing. They either do it as part of, they add it to their water or sewer bill, which we don't do. So that would mean
We have to have an
Or add it to your tax?
exactly, we have
Mine
to have
was always
authority,
like that.
it would be staff and all that. And the other point was, if you really want to know what the citizens want, consider putting this on a referendum on the ballot.
I had mentioned that to you a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We can't.
Because I researched that, and in Pennsylvania, municipalities, I don't know, I don't remember the exact thing.
Can be done, but it's a headache.
I mean, there are certain things that can be put on there as referendum. It's very restrictive.
Yeah, I just want to be clear on the opt-in out. I heard it said that before you do the RSP, find out how many people want to opt out. When you say opt out, means they're saying, I don't want to go with that. I'm correct.
Right.
That's one of the
Okay,
options.
so how can you let them do that if there's a clause in our ordinance that says they have to have a trash hauler? If they opt out, do they have to show you then who they're getting?
Yes.
That's
So
what
that's
we
how
we
it
would have to determine that, how that would work.
Okay.
They would have to prove they had trash.
Yeah, and along with that, I know a party that has, it's out 2 elderly people and they have 3 trash bins out. But in their backyard, I mean, it's just so bad. I see cats going in and out all the time, trash, cardboard, things that should be going to the trash hauler. So you're not going to get everything that needs to go to that trash site. But anyway, it's good to talk about this. I'm glad to hear this. Thank you.
I did want to bring up something that, Scott, you were talking about prices. Kelly did send over some general prices for some other municipalities.
That's over the last 5 years.
Yeah, over the last 5 years. I did want to say a couple of them. So for instance, I'll just say my bill is $140 a quarter. So about $560 a year. That's too much. Yeah.
For 2 people?
No, we have 4 people.
Oh, 4 people.
4 adults. But But so
Still.
in comparison, 2023 Lancaster City was $320 a year, comparatively, for residents when switching to single hauler. Mountville $260, West Hempfield $290, Raffo $300. So just to give a general idea, it is. I know I'm on the high end, but even compared to Scott's at $99, that's still an average reduction of about $100 per year. So I just wanted to put some of that into perspective for everybody, so we're on the same page as far as potential savings, what we could see on average. No, those prices I just listed were from single hauler municipalities and what people are paying in the single hauler system. That does include recycling. The only one that didn't was Ephrata, which separates them into two different ones for some reason, and that was $249 for waste and $129 for recycling. The rest of them are combined.
And Mountjoy separates into Borough and Township.
Yeah, Borough and Township are separate, but not recycling and waste.
Your haulers, when they get the RFP, they're gonna go to the solid waste authority and they're gonna say, tell me how much trash was dumped out for Columbia, because they track that by municipality.
Sure, yeah.
And
They have to do their part.
they'll base their pricing on the tonnage
Yeah.
that's coming out of this borough. So comparatively speaking, those rates are good, but they may not be as
Yeah,
good
100%.
knowing what comes out of this borough.
Any other questions or comments? Is this something council would prefer to move forward with?
Take a vote.
If we want to do the research.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Either guys here today or we continue this.
I think one thing I brought up, my opinion was a few weeks ago, is it is us, regardless, like now that we've gotten into it and having these discussions, it's a significant undertaking. And we have enough stuff on our plate this year as far as like we have a huge budget gap. We have, we're short on some of our services because our staffing is short staffed. We need to, I think, I was of the opinion at the time that I think that we have enough stuff going on between council and staff and everything else that I don't know if we want to add the complexity that this is going to require to do it well on top of everything else this year. That's not saying that I don't think it could be done in the future correctly, but I think that between doing it well and communicating it well to the residents, that's going to be a much bigger undertaking than just putting together an ordinance and an RFP and sending it out.
Well, not only that, but it would I just lost my train of thought.
I think I was in the same boat. I think I was fairly supportive a couple weeks ago when we first opened this up to kick it around. But my opinion after hearing citizen comments is it's less than tenable at this point. And once again, we do, as Councilman Byer says, but there's a lot of things on a plate that seem to be needing priority at this point.
Mhm.
So my opinion would be this would be maybe something down the road, but I would personally vote no after hearing the comments of this evening, the people that are concerned about it.
Yeah, and I was concerned when she said that a lot of the places don't do the billing, that the billing would have to be done out a year. And our staff, we don't want to put that on them at this
That'd be an
time.
additional cost we have to
Yeah.
find somewhere, either try to partner with the water company or do it here, and that's an
Or
additional.
include it with your tax bill. Every place I lived before here, it was part of the tax bill.
And this year, you didn't do the taxes.
Right, we have it for years. What's that point?
I think.
You just tell me you're adding the tax bill onto it. You just add the tax bill onto it.
Yeah, I brought mine in next year, became mine in here. This is the first year it got mailed, we had to mail it out.
Yes.
Yes, we did, right.
I just wanted to thank Mary Barninger because she provided more information than I've heard from anybody. And it seemed, very valid and useful. So I applaud her for coming here tonight and speaking.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Joanne?
I'm a no.
I don't see the point in it. I'm fine with it. think
I
it-
agree with Ethan that now is not the right time.
I agree too.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I
It'll,
think
never,
it's
it'll never be the right time to call me.
it's just
15
Well,
years.
yeah.
I've heard the same stuff for 15 years. It's never going to be the right time.
that's true.
Just
Well,
drop
if
it.
if we have a full staff,
No, I've heard
then
we've had full staff. It's a staff change. This has been issues 15 years ago. It was a staff issue. I've heard this conversation so many times. It's just like at some point we just need to just say, just drop it.
That's fine.
Put it in bed.
All right. Moving on. Finance. Councilwoman Kesey asked that we talk about the council room audio video system. And I know our manager, Farmer, has some input on this, but go ahead.
Let him, he can go first. Go ahead, Jack.
The
Audio
AV
video.
system.
Our AV system.
You got some
Yeah,
numbers.
I
That's
guess
what I'm looking
I'm not quite sure what you're proposing, but I will say that in Wilson, if you want to step up as well, Wilson and Paula actually did an analysis, if you will. They looked into the current system. I do acknowledge that we had some issues a meeting or two ago. That was in an attempt to prepare a second computer in the event that we have had a problem. There was a setting issue there, but otherwise, yeah, the experiment went well. So I would say at this point in time, I don't see value in going through the process of getting more different vendors in, spending additional money. I think if you give us the opportunity to continue to work out the kinks, I'm confident that we can, have a system that's going to be free of any issues.
That was my point.
Yeah.
To spend money on an additional service to get a brand new camera system, when we were made aware, like at our last meeting, how many people really watch it? And I did some research and look, there's not a whole lot of people that actually watch the lives. Less than 200 people. We have a lot more people than that here in the borough. So to say that we should replace that or do anything with it just isn't right.
It's fair.
Is that 200
I think
people that were trying to watch that meeting, or 200 people over what period of time? I just see how many views are on the meeting. I don't know how many people were trying to watch it when it was live streaming. When you go on and you look, it tells you exactly how many views have been made to that particular video.
200 people were trying or were watching.
Right, right.
That's
Yeah,
I think so too.
But that's a much bigger number.
Out of 10,000.
Number of residents in the borough, I would agree, that's not. Right, but that's a much bigger number than when it's just simple meetings and there aren't bigger issues that are going on.
For instance,
Because those are a lot less people watching them.
currently there are 16 people watching.
Right.
And I do think I was speaking to somebody from LNP that uses the live stream primarily to do their reporting. They said that out of the options, out of the other municipalities, Columbia currently has one of the best systems. Now that's more of, I think, a slight on the other municipalities and the inconsistencies there. But I do think that what you're getting at is there's not necessarily a humongous number of people that can justify a couple $1,000 expense to upgrade or change the system. Frank?
I'm just, I guess, upset or whatever you want to call it, as to when we had something that didn't work for so long. We kept just trying to get it fixed, or Wilson worked on it, or somebody else worked on it. Why didn't we just say right then and there, either scrap it? I'm going back maybe 2-3 years. I don't know how long this has been going on. And I hear it when it doesn't work, or when 3/4 way through it, it screeches. That's when the people tell me the next day, right, what the hell happened with that system? Why don't they change it? Why don't they do this, do that? I said, I'm not in charge. But I just wonder why we keep trying to fool with this. And if we had vehicles that didn't work, we're going to trade them in. We're going to do something with it, but we keep going. And how much did we spend over the time? So what you're saying now that we're not going to do nothing with it. Is that what I understand?
Right. Jack is saying that they've done some things and worked on some things to improve the live streaming.
And you think it's pretty well fixed?
I think we're fine now, Frank. It doesn't mean there isn't going to be issues sometime in the future, but we've had the technician in here multiple times. I think the one day you were in here, so you saw him. And we feel things are in a good place. And we have a backup as well, backup computer that we can use in the event there's a problem.
Is it working tonight?
It is working, yes.
All right. It goes back to what me and Sharon brought up. Why does it work for the committee meetings and some of the other meetings? Why is it always our meeting that it doesn't work? Could it get to the point that when it don't work, that you cancel the meeting? No?
Yeah, I asked twice now. One time we delayed it. One time we did cancel it.
Yeah.
And one time we delayed it.
And you canceled the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I ask every time we have issues, I ask what the council wants to do.
And they agreed or not?
Well, last time we had that big crowd, it was just,
Oh,
so they wanted to
okay.
continue the meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, Sharon.
I just wanted to say that since the taxpayers paid for the system in the first place, we would expect it to work. Second place, I don't care if there's one resident listening, that's one more than, if they want to know what's going on, that's the only way for some people. There are families that can't sit through 2 or 3 hour meetings when they have kids at home or they have events. They depend on that. And I think it's a service we deserve as taxpayers. That's one part of this. The other part was the LMP. I will say it's a shame that they no longer attend in person. But prior to this young man that's doing it now, there was a lady doing it. And she would have to call and ask me to see if Joe could provide a recording, because he often, no, Jade does not do that. This was Gail Johnson.
Okay.
And she would often rely on us when the live stream wasn't working and she couldn't be here because she had another municipality she was covering at the same time. So the meetings clashed. So she would depend on that live stream, like the video recording the next day, and be able to write her municipal brief based on that. But if it wasn't available and it didn't work, she was stuck. And so anyway, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on the audio visual? There was no finance committee meeting this month, but we did add the McGinnis BIOS report. And that tells you the total amount we used so far, how much was loan and how much was grant. We do expect some additional minor fees, but that's pretty good to where we're at.
When it says an additional $100 to $150, $50,000 in additional cost to complete phase 1.
Yeah.
I thought phase 1 was completed.
I
guess
like
I'm
some
not-
seeding and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
minor
okay.
punch list items that
Oh,
can still
okay.
be done that couldn't be done.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
And a lot of that's just a safety net.
Okay.
Yes,
It was, yeah.
it's attached to that site, yes.
So this is that. What was the total amount for the BIOS originally?
It's right around 9,000. Or 9 million.
9 million.
9.4 million.
Yeah.
So this is just what has been submitted currently for the work that was done over the last couple years. The rest of it would be it's in the RFP that it would potentially be made available to the developer at their the loan would be then their responsibility.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, I was just going to announce.
RFP.
I was just going to announce. Give me a second, Shannon. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Jack, you want to give the information out?
I certainly can.
Because this is important.
So tomorrow, there is a mandatory pre-bid meeting. It will take place on April 8th at 10 a.m. Anyone who wishes to submit a bid to purchase the McGinnis property must attend this meeting. The meeting will take place at the McGinnis site, which is at 1020 Manor Street.
Yes. I got your bid number, so you're able to bid.
Please buy it, Frank. Get it outside of that.
So I just want to understand this
Number?
page you had up there. Yeah. That's not the total invested though, is it? I mean, from back in
This is
20.
strictly the buyers.
Okay. It's not including like all of our legal fees and engineering and all that.
It's strictly
Does
buyers.
anybody have a total
We
on
do
that?
have a total. I don't have it with me right now.
Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
Excuse me?
Not to our knowledge.
No, we've been there several times since we did the press release. There were several. Well, that's what I think we did have interest after WGAL was there, Fox 43, Central Penn Business Journal contacted us.
All right, community development.
Oh, I have a
Oh, I'm
question
sorry, go
on,
ahead.
I have a question on, the finance stuff.
Yeah.
There were no finance reports in the packet. Are we gonna, the last ones we saw were from January. So I was expecting to see February's. Are we gonna get them at some point or,
We'll have those available at the next meeting.
okay. That was my question.
Okay. Community development. In your packets is zoning, planning, and hard reports. And Councilwoman Cooper asked if she could talk about the homeless shelter committee.
I'd like to put together a committee to work on, excuse me, the homeless situation here in Columbia and to try to come up with some solutions for people to have a day center somewhere, whether it be in town or in the outskirts of Columbia. I'd like to put together a committee to work on that. So,
To research that, right? Like talk
yeah,
through the
to
options.
research, talk to people, talk with Justin, put together a committee to research everything that we can to come up with a possible solution. So I'm looking for the blessing of council to do that.
So this committee would not have any authorization representing the borough, but they can go out and do research and find potential sites.
Okay,
Is that what you're asking?
yes,
I just want to be clear.
yeah. And I can talk with Justin. and
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, if council allows you to create this committee, I don't want you to believe that you can go out representing the borough and make decisions without council approval.
I understand that, yes,
That's all I'm saying.
okay.
So we have met a couple times,
Mhm.
actually more than a couple times.
Yeah.
about the situation. And Councilman Cooper is asking to try and I guess you'll say motivate, stimulate the process to try and find a new location or something that's more about suitable because it gives you more options.
Right,
For example, Justin showed us the plans for the Lancaster project they're doing.
Water Street, Flint Street.
And allows for office spaces and other stuff. So when he talked about those buildings and gave references of what he's kind of looking for in this area, that's what Jeannie's asking for permission to go out and explore.
Yeah.
I know one of the issues currently, and Pastor, maybe you have more information about it, is the inability to house families or children because of the requirements for, are just not possible at the Dream Center's current location. I know that was something that wanted to be addressed at some point. Is
I
be
think
able to
it'd be
offer
better
that.
if I was on the mic.
Yes, probably.
Just so, yeah. Thank you. Councilperson Cooper, you mentioned, you said day center. I think we're talking about an entire shelter that's new.
Yes.
Excuse me?
An entire shelter. You said day
Yes,
center.
I
I think we're talking about an entire shelter.
Yes.
I was not invited to that meeting. I would like to be present at more. I think we can help more than we can hinder. So we are talking, we've been talking for a while. This conversation started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we had a public meeting in here 3 years ago. And it wasn't about money. It was about finding a suitable location with zoning that works, which was, I think, is Justin's primary concern. When we talk to redevelopment, it's our concern too. This has been going on a long time. It's hard to do what the things that we want to do at the church if this goes on. So I think it's better for everybody if we try to work together to find a suitable location. And yes, Ethan, the housing of families is a priority for us. So you can hear, there's too many children in transition or experiencing homelessness in Columbia Borough School District. That's just the beginning of it. But there's a lot more to the whole picture of homelessness and poverty that we need to address together. Yeah.
So, Pastor
Yes.
Powers, I believe Jeannie's asking for us to create like an ad hoc committee where it would include, if council members want to be on it, business people, ministry.
That's my hope, Eric. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Ad hoc. I think the word task force has been thrown around. And that's fine. We do our job and then we're dismissed, right? That's basically what we do.
Basically,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do I have your blessing to do that?
And it has to go
Blessing of
across.
council?
Yes.
Yeah. And for you.
Just, one thing I would ask is that you come back to council with a plan as far as a scope of what you want to do.
Right.
And then once you create a committee, you identify those members with council.
Okay.
So we're all aware of it.
That's good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you.
And if you have meeting dates, let us know meeting dates and stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
we keep everybody posted.
Absolutely.
All right. Public Works is a Public Works report in your packet. Anything on Public Works? Jake, snowplows, everything running good? Good.
Any day now.
We have an update on the transmission. Jake, can you just provide an update on the truck with the transmission? Yeah.
And what was the electrical issue with the other truck?
It was actually a module down in the valve body and then also a plug. Actually, they call it a run plate. Actually, that's all.
Gotcha. How much did that end up costing, that repair?
That was a lot of
Diagnosed it, yeah.
Yeah. And the transmission was, you have the final bill for that yet?
Yeah, that came in, I think that was a few $100.
Yeah, about 4,000 some, right?
Well, it's
14.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that'll be
4,000. The other one's 4,000.
Thanks, Chief.
No, Janie's are 4,000.
So I have a question. Now that yard waste pickup has started and the street sweeping has started, just curious, what is the preferred method of handling the sweet gum balls?
What?
The what?
The sweet gum balls. Like I asked this because my aunt has theirs and in her front, and I was looking at driving past the house at 10th and Walnut, and they're all there, and I'm wondering, like, does the street sweeper pick those up? Should we be encouraging residents to sweep them up?
He does
Can
pick
they-
them up.
Do they put them in the bags, or?
They're not too heavy, but when they're out there real heavy, it doesn't pick much of them. That's why a lot of times in the winter, you'll see us out there in areas
Shoveling them.
sweeping them up.
Yeah.
Would it be better if they put them in bags? That would be best.
My aunt just put out 9 bags of them. Yesterday.
I would say yard waste started last Monday, a week ago. We got, I think it was 22,000 pounds. I got my workout with back there.
Saturdays. Which Saturdays are you available out there? Not you personally,
Second,
It's in April, it starts twice a month,
second and fourth.
but okay.
It'll go all the way through to October.
And that's only morning hours.
8 to noon.
Yes. Most significant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 8 to noon. And
Anything
sweet gum
else?
balls go in a bag.
Oh, you don't have anything.
Nothing, no. Thanks, sir.
Public safety. We have police report, fire report, EMS report, EMA report, and code report in the packet. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss about public safety?
I just want to, in defense of our codes office, the code enforcement for the trash, both the accumulation and the disorderly, I guess, trash, is what they were at 32 citations for the first 2 months of this year, which I think is respectable. That was on top of the first 2 months citing for 51 violation of the snow ordinance. So they are on top of doing the best they can with citing those in violation of those trash violations. Also in that packet, Lifeline included their numbers. So if you look at the Lifeline Columbia Borough response, we're about 3 times. And of course, their station is out of Columbia Borough, but I think we had 141 calls of service for Lifeline, and the closest behind us was maybe West Lampeter with 31. So we do get a lot of service from Lifeline, and they are participating in our community.
And I just want to mention in the EMC report that Jay put together, again, just updating on planning for the 300th and 250th, putting together the necessary emergency plans and provisions that will be needed over the summer for all the events. And there's nothing really as far as no IPAs, no EOC, nothing that has happened in the last few months on their end.
All righty. Market House.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you. Joanne, you talked about 2 part-time employees,
Right.
so let's hear it.
We would like to convert the market house manager position from 40 hours a week to 30 hours a week. that will reduce the market house manager's salary by 25%, eliminates all benefits, including medical stipend, leave, etc. And we would also like to establish a part-time market house support staff position, which would be at $25 an hour, working 20 hours per month on an as-needed basis for the market and to have coverage. And it will reduce the manager position to part-time, removing their benefits, and a significant annual savings to the borough. Even with the addition of the part-time support, total costs remain lower. The change also reduces long-term liabilities tied to leave and accrual and benefit time. It's continuation of operations and reduced risk. Currently, many market functions depend on a single individual. Adding part-time support provides operational redundancy, ensures coverage during absences, and helps maintain consistent service levels during market hours, events, and emergency. The part-time support role also creates a trained staff member who understands operations, vendor relations, and events needed. This strengthens organizational resilience and reduces the borough's exposure should the manager's position become vacant in the future. So we would have someone in there that would know exactly what goes on in the market. And that person, potentially could pick up if that were to occur. The market house hosts events that extend beyond standard business hours. A part-time position allows staffing to scale during peak times without overextending the manager, improving responsiveness to vendors, customers, and the community. And we were going to ask this because we know that there is a hiring freeze, but this would save significant money.
So, I'll speak on this one. I was against a part-time employee, but that's when we had a full-time manager. I didn't think we needed a part-time on top of a full-time.
Right.
The other thing is I didn't realize the significance of, to me, it's one day a week there, but really needed there. But realistically, that one day is a Saturday. For most people who take vacations, have holidays, go away, whatever. So I understand that, and this makes more sense to me now, especially since you have it written out. So I also agree with succession. So it sets us up for the future.
This is also taking away burden on staff who have to go over, open the market house, cover it, close it, which they're already overwhelmed to begin with.
Yeah, if the manager isn't available.
Right. Someone has to pick it up.
So I'm actually in favor of moving in this direction. But again, it's council.
And we have had a discussion with Bonnie, the market manager,
Yeah.
who is completely on board with this.
Yes.
Jack and I
Wanted to
had a
make sure.
discussion. There's not any issue that she's brought to either of us about it.
The only thing I'm fine moving forward on this. I'd like to see a budget comparison with like some hard numbers of how much exactly we're going to be saving by switching to the system. It sounds like, from just off the top of without the benefits, that's a significant cost on the staffing. So I do think it's most likely going to be a good choice. I just would like to see some numbers.
Absolutely.
Would we reduce just the market manager's salary by $14,000?
Yeah.
Are there any figures of what the insurance costs? That would be?
I don't have any figures.
Bonnie was receiving a stipend in
Does he have a
lieu
stipend?
in insurance coverage. I don't recall what that number is, but I'll get those numbers together for council.
How much are we paying for the one vendor to do the social media stuff?
That's coming out of the marketing.
It is. It
The
is.
marketing, the market house marketing budget.
I know, but I was wondering.
I don't know the
how much
exact
we're
number.
paying.
I don't have the budget in front of me, but it's spelled out clearly in the budget.
And that's the only thing that's coming out of the marketing,
That's correct.
is that
Well,
we're not doing any other marketing.
No, I shouldn't say that.
We're not advertising anywhere.
Bonnie subscribed to a event detective, is what she calls it. So that's exposing, anyone interested in hosting an event in our region to the market house and what we have to offer.
Yes, Sharon?
Thought I recalled that we put or so in the budget for a part-time this year.
We
We
did.
did, but then we weren't hiring freeze.
We weren't going to hire any.
So then that was off the table then.
Yes.
So to go part-time now?
Yes.
Yes.
And then
She's
will
actually
she,
approached-
okay, she'll give up the stipend.
Yes.
You will.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I was just
She
trying to
approached the manager.
follow that. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? That's fine.
I could be, I could be wrong, but the borough side of the financial deal, when the people pay the money, blah, 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 whatever, the finance manager used to take care of that. Am I wrong, or who's doing that now?
What do you mean to pay the money?
Well, when
You're
someone
talking about the
pays,
vendors?
yes, the
So
vendors,
they
the
still
finance,
pay-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
They still pay their fees, the monthly fees. They go to Lori, and Lori enters that information.
Okay, so Lori's the one that they go to.
No, they go to,
They go
The-
to
the-
Bonnie.
They go to Bonnie.
Frank,
Bonnie
the market-
collects them and brings them into Laurie.
Frank, the market house manager collects the money and then turns it into the bookkeeper, Laurie, who processes that.
Okay, I had thought that all stopped, that they didn't want the manager collecting any of the money. That's what I thought I heard.
That was supposed to have stopped because that was an audit issue.
Thank you, thank you.
That's why we put a lockbox over there.
So, okay,
But ultimately, it goes to the finance department.
Right.
That's correct.
And Laurie was always the one that credited that.
I'm just wondering who's on top of it. That's my deal.
Just so it's two separate, you have checks and balances.
And I'm probably out of line, but any new things on a finance manager?
No.
You're telling me they're not out there? Or we're not,
we haven't gotten any.
or we're not looking?
I don't know if our price is too low, our salary's too low. I don't know if the rumor mills of the world talk about Columbia at night, but we have no interest.
Well, honestly, the word is out. I mean,
No, I know.
we're not,
We're not desirable.
we're not desirable. No one wants to come work here. That's not a secret.
So that's our issue right now.
And the market house report is in your packet. So I added this year, or this work session, I'd like to keep it in there. For boards and commissions, current vacancies, both standard positions and alternates. And the zoning board has one open position. Parks and Rec has one open position. For alternates, the zoning hearing board has 2 open positions, and planning commission has 3. We ask if anybody that wants to volunteer for these positions, submit an application by the 20th of each month, so that council has time by the end of the month to move forward on it.
You know, these applications in the hallway outside though.
Yes.
They're outside and online,
Okay.
so. That's not what's commission. Borough Council comments. Ethan, welcome back. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't really have too much. Just 2 things. One, I want to thank everybody who did reach out and check in on me and my family after hearing about my father. I really appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to respond to everybody, but I really appreciate them. The other thing is, at the last meeting, I know Jesse was speaking on working with the new sites that cover things in Columbia. I I assume hopefully he's listening to this, is that we do have a communication plan we're putting together with staff that is including information about working with the local news organizations in Columbia and also just in the county. So once we get that sort of pinned down, that first draft will be public whenever we're happy enough with it that we want to start moving forward, and we can have more discussions about adjustments we want to make and how we want to work with the press. So, but that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
I got one call from a constituent who was upset with the street sweeper who insisted on having the right of way going through an intersection, and she didn't have the right of way. And the lady was very upset with her. She said she went and she looked up the ordinance on street sweeping and that she was right. She did not have the right of way. And she just wanted to have her spoken with so that she knew what the rules were of driving the street sweeper. So that if the car's coming down, the street sweeper's coming this way, her car's coming this way. She's going across there. She has the right of way. She doesn't have a stop sign. She has the right of way. And the street sweeper came out in front of her. So she just wants to make sure that somebody mentions that.
Are you indicating the street sweeper had a stop sign?
I'm indicating that she thinks that she did.
Okay.
She didn't.
Do we know when?
Yeah, where was it?
When? Where?
I don't know, but I've got her name and number and I can call her back and get more information. Okay.
If you get a chance, check with the officers down there at Second and Third, right on Second. They actually park right on top of that stop sign, and then they also park in front of the fire truck.
Thank you.
Is that everything?
Yeah. Thank you.
Councilwoman Zink.
Well, now we've hit April. We need to, in an upcoming meeting, talk about if we are going to appoint a voter Columbia Borough at the conference in the beginning of June. I believe there are several of us going, so council will have to decide who we want to have as the voting member, voting delegate, and then the alternate. And then, Jack, there's a paper that you have to fill out and send in. And I think I sent the email. The Lancaster County Boroughs Association meeting is the last Wednesday of this month. If you want to go, reply to the email to Rebecca DeSantis Randall and let her know that you'll be coming. It's at Millersville University.
Anything else? Nope. Thank you.
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Nothing more to add than been said.
I know we had a full plate, but I think we discussed, I did have another email from a constituent this week again about the signage at Avenue I beside the Market House, and maybe we could address that visibility over there, direction of travel in the vehicles.
So I put that on the agenda and I was shot down. Apparently Public Works is already involved in doing a study and other things. So
Yeah, because you have to do a traffic study. And
Right.
you have to do a whole. There's a whole PennDOT process you have to go through.
I'll let the folks know that have been contacting me that
Yes.
the study's
they're in the
underway.
process of doing it, and then I'll come to council once they
Sounds good.
come up with an answer.
Appreciate that answer.
Can Tom and I be kept up to date on the progress of that being on public safety? Just, if there are any other traffic studies going on, just want to be made aware so we can just stay in the loop on them.
All right. I do not have anything. So, Upcoming meetings, April 8th, CCAT at the National Watch and Clock Museum at 5:30. It's for you, brother. April 9th, 2026 is Park and Recreation meeting.
8th is Harb also.
8th, Harb's canceled.
Oh, Harb's canceled?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't say that. I had it crossed out so I couldn't read it.
The April 9th meeting is canceled. Is that what you just said?
April 8th,
April 8th.
the Harb.
April 9th,
Oh, okay.
Parks and Rec is still going on. Announcement of next meeting will be 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. Council will hold a regular scheduled meeting. I have a motion for adjournment. Oh, sorry. The issue is, we're looking for,
I think they're working to simplify the
Should be
zoning
really.
in town.
wait a
Should
sec,
be
wait a
all
sec,
the time.
two different things. That's planning commission.
Understood.
What zoning meeting? The last Wednesday.
I don't know that we announced that. I don't know that it's,
I'm not sure it's gonna happen yet.
Have they met yet to name a new
That's
head?
what we gotta do.
I know, but I'm saying they have to, normally they give us their recommendation like
Right,
planning does.
right.
So they should be meeting to at least have that, I would hope.
So my question is, they had 5 members. We're down to 4. I guess it's still,
They need somebody then.
We do
Yeah.
have some.
Eric, did you want to discuss a little bit of the conversation we had today regarding the bid committee?
oh, I'm sorry, I did want to. Thank you very much. I still have your motion. So, we had a conversation today. 4 of us met, 5 of us. 5 of us met.
not 5 council members.
No. It was the borough manager,
Engineer, solicitor.
Gable and
Just have-
Evan. Yep. We talked about the process they're going to go through tomorrow. That's all it was. That's all we talked about.
Oh, okay.
But with that being said, there's a bid opening process for the May 18th.
At 10 a.m., the bids get open. Because it's a sealed bid process, we have to do a public bid opening,
bid
similar to what's done when we bid out public works projects and so forth. So at 10 a.m., they'll open the bids and read out the dollar amount of each bid. But then beyond that, we need to decide who or how we are going to handle the scoring rubric with those bids. Do we want to do a committee of, the people that we're meeting today, or does all of council want to be in that where we compile all of the results of the rubric?
The sale of
McGinnis.
Bill McGinnis.
I think it would be good for a smaller
Yeah, smaller group.
team to meet that week, because then they can bring the results to the 26th council
Well,
regular meeting.
No.
No?
Well, we have said we are awarding the bid on the 26th.
Yeah.
So we need to have a meeting on the 18th to start to compile those,
The scores.
the scores and everything. And the question is, do we want a small committee, or do we want an executive session and everyone can be involved?
So, my personal opinion is, I think an executive session is the way to go.
Mhm.
It may be slightly longer, but our rubrics that Heather put together
Yeah.
is fairly simple.
Mhm.
There may be a block point-to-point difference, but it should be pretty simple for us all to agree on or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just would like to count, this is a very big step for council in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I just would like all council to be part of it.
That sounds good.
So,
Did you say you wanted the meeting on the 18th?
well, I'd like to.
It's a Monday evening, because the 19th is election day, so
This is
there,
in May.
yes,
Yeah.
there
Okay.
will be multiple people that are not available. And then we would have the 20th, if for some reason we would need extra time, we could do on the 20th, because we have to have everything ready by the 21st, 22nd to make it into the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm just
what
con-
time do you want to meet the 18th at night?
Oh, I don't
Well,
know yet.
we don't, we,
you've got me confused. This is a bid on what?
Okay, so Frank,
The RFPs
For McGinnis.
for beginners.
the McGinnis project, the sealed bids get opened on May 18th at 10 a.m.
Okay, well, it's my understanding they didn't go out yet.
yes, they did.
No, they did.
When?
The
March
30th, March
30th.
30th
March
is
30th.
when bids opened. They end on May 14th.
Okay.
And then we're opening them on the 18th. And then we need to make a decision by the 26th.
Do you think you got bids? Is that why you're having the bid opening?
No, our RFP,
Planning in advance.
yes,
Yeah.
We're planning in advance.
RFP
Oh, okay,
says
okay, all right, that makes sense.
May 18th and May 26th. So we got to open them on May 18th, announce on 26th.
Okay.
So what we're saying is we have to have a committee together, whether it's full council or a committee, to review the bids using that rubrics and come up with a winner.
Well,
Because it's not just as simple as, this is how much this person bid,
Right.
because we have a whole set of scoring requirements, because we want them to tell us what project, like basics about the project and things like that. It's not just bottom line, here's the dollar.
yes, I would be surprised if someone did put a bid in and acted on that.
We have to.
I know, but how long do you have to act on that? That should take time
Why?
to check everybody out, see if they got the money, see what their intent is, and
That's part of this,
That is the rubric.
part of the scoring
And-
thing.
and
They
how long-
have to provide that information.
how long are you looking for that process?
Well, we can only have a bid open for 45 days.
Yeah, well, that's
And there,
good
and
enough.
we have to award the bid within 10 days of the bid opening. And, because this is all per law. And the closing, we have to have the closing take place, meaning they have to give us the money to pay for the property within 60 days.
Okay, so the alternative is you don't have to take the bid.
Correct.
Correct.
You don't have
Yep.
to, no.
You're correct.
That,
We don't like to do that.
As
thanks for explaining.
Yep, and as, just for clarification, we did also have a discussion today about how tomorrow the meeting will be, the pre-bid meeting will be interesting. It'll give us a lot of information depending on how many or how few people show up. And we also talked about possibilities of maybe doing, if we would, have to pivot and do a second pre-bid meeting, things like that, that may have to happen. But at this point, we're just sort of anxiously waiting till tomorrow at 10 to see what happens.
Yeah.
I have a question on your process for the rubric. Is it set up that you will, if you use all council, so you're doing the bids and your complete rubric as a group? Or
Yes.
does each council person have their own and assess
Well,
their
they'll all
own
have,
and then bring it together?
I think it's pretty clear, the rubrics, that if everybody has a copy of the phone, if we could sit here and say, hey, this one clearly falls in 3. And somebody may say, well, I think it's a 4, and somebody may say it's a 2.
That's why I wasn't sure how it was.
Yeah, we're all going to discuss it together.
But yeah, I just want all councilmen, I
Did we get
prefer.
that rubric prior to that meeting or not?
It's in the
It's out.
RFP.
It's public.
It's in the RFP.
In the RFP.
It's on the website.
Yeah, it's on the
It's on the
website.
Yes, I will print one out for you.
It's in the RFP.
Will the Shade Tree Commission meeting that night cause a problem.
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
So, do you know what time you want it to be?
No, they haven't decided that yet.
Yeah,
It's probably gonna be the 6, 7 o'clock time, right?
Sounds good.
Okay, so any other questions? All right, thank you for reminding me, Jen. Oh,
Did you want to make an announcement about the spring cleanup?
I did not. Borough manager, actually, police chief.
He wasn't on the agenda to speak tonight.
You didn't give him the place, Eric.
Thank you, Tiffany, for the reminder.
Yeah, we missed him. He wasn't on the agenda.
The Borough will host the annual Community Cleanup Day on Friday, April 24th. Volunteers will canvass the borough, picking up trash. Trash haulers will pick up items that residents purchase tags for. Thank you. For more information, check out the borough website or contact Pam Armold in the police department. Thank you.
So with that being said, Jack, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. It's also Go Green Friday, down at the crossings, Sods, the crossings, Parks and Rec, and a few other people will be down there. The Shade Tree Commission will have their annual Arbor Day celebration with proclamation. I think they said they do. And then I believe Sods is providing food for a certain amount of people.
Yeah, I think
Online
that's
and
sold out.
register. Yeah.
Yeah,
Had
it's
to go
sold
and
out.
register.
Well, I know one of them was, but he did something. Yes. What's that?
No, they don't do that anymore.
What is he?
They are this year.
The mayor covers it.
It's a full
So,
Friday.
So thank you. With that being said, I have a motion by Councilman Zink, second by Councilwoman Easy to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At 10 what? You have to do
9:47.
Don't you have to tell what time?
I think
Yeah,
so.
you should.